Here are solutions to homework set number 7 for ECE 476-676, Advanced Embedded Systems. This homework set looks at using interrupts, specifically edge interrupts and timer interrupts, to build a roulette wheel. So what it should look like when you're done is something kind of like this. I could change the number I'm betting on by pushing the joystick up and back. So increase the number, decrease the number I'm betting on. If I want to bet on number 4, I'll then press this button. That starts the roulette wheel. It then stops at a random spot. If I bet on the right number, I win. I gain $1. Otherwise, I lose $1. Correction, I win $8 on a win, lose $1 on a loss. So how do we write that code? Starting out, and here's the grading. I want to use edge interrupts to detect the button push, timer interrupts for the ball to spin, allow you to change what number you're betting on with the analog input, display the ball position on the graphics display, and demo the program works. So starting out, I'm going to start with the display routine. Again, typically the first thing I work on is the display routine because that helps you see what's going on. This uses the LCD library on Bison Academy. And here's the routine. I'm going to draw a circle that's red, orange, yellow. That's these circles right here. I'll then draw the numbers 1 through 8 going around a circle. That's these numbers right there, the number I'm betting on. And to check it, I'll initialize, set the colors, clear the display, draw a box around the whole display, put a title up, and display over here, the number I'm betting on, where the ball position is, what the bank balance is, and see if that works. And sure enough, okay, it looks like the display routine works. Played around with this for a while, came up with something that I thought was decent looking. Once the display works, let's get the analog input to work. What I want is to be able to increase the number I'm betting on by hitting the joystick up, decrease the number I'm betting on by pulling it down. So to do that, I'll turn on the analog input. In the main loop, I will check, read the analog input. This is the 0 position when I power it up. If I'm above it, increase the number. If I'm below it, decrease the number. And this actually goes from 0 to 65,000, or relative to here, minus 32,000 to plus 32,000. If I'm above a threshold, like 10,000, I'll increase by 1, otherwise decrease by 1, every 100 milliseconds. So if I push up, it increases and stops at 8. If I pull down, it decreases and stops at 1. Okay, that's the number I'm betting on. I'll then use an edge interrupt to start the game. So this sets up interrupt on pin 15. This is on a falling edge when I push the button. On a falling edge, I call this interrupt surface routine. It generates a random number from 0 through 8. If it's 0, I just shift it down by 1. So if x equals 0, the winning number is whatever you bet on minus 1. Just to toy with you, if it's 0, wraps around 0 means 8. So that's the winning number. So there's the edge interrupt. The last step is spin the wheel. So initially made it every 200 milliseconds, I spin. When I start the game, I'll call a timer interrupt every 200 milliseconds. It will call this over and over again as long as n is greater than 0. Every time it steps, n decrements When it decrements, the ball moves around, displays it, and beeps. And kind of what that looks like is this. In addition, just to show off, I'm changing the period of it so it starts out really fast. As n gets larger, n gets smaller and smaller, I increase the size. Eventually, when n is 1, it'll be 1 second for the last one. Finally, once the game is over, I'll calculate the winnings. Once the game is over, I set a flag. If the flag is set and n is 0, I clear the flag. If I landed on the right number, I increase the bank by 8. Otherwise, I decrease the bank by 1. Display everything. And what she looks like is this. Generate random numbers. 1/9 of the time, the number that comes up is always the number that I bet on, -1. So I just missed by that much. The rest of the time, it is a fair wheel, 1 in 8 chance of winning. So actually the odds of winning are 1 in 9. When I do win, the payoff is 8-1. That is a roulette wheel using edge interrupts to detect when I hit the button, using timer interrupts to shift the ball.